No,
Let's get to the other part of the Cavs conversation I want to bring up after a quick word from Game Time. There's nothing like the energy of an MLS match, the chants, the atmosphere, the last-minute goals. If you want to experience it all live, Game Time makes getting tickets easier than ever with last-minute deals, all-in pricing, and a lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying Major League Soccer tickets. Plus, the prices drop as kickoff gets closer, so you can score amazing seats at a great price. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDON to get $20 off your first offer. Once again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. So Game 2 was obviously an emotional roller coaster for the Cavs and all of Cleveland and their fan base. Afterwards, Kenny Atkinson and Donovan Mitchell were asked, mentally, how do you put what just happened behind you and regroup for Game 3? We're going to listen to Donovan and Kenny. And then Tyvis, I'm curious from a former athlete perspective at the highest level, how a player and a team can put something like this behind them. So here's Kenny and Donovan, and we'll go right to Tyvis afterwards.
We got to get guys back. That's first. Hopefully, if we can, we can get guys back. I've been down 2-0 before at home, and we have enough talent. We have enough talent in there to go get. Game 3, that's it. That's all that counts. Not Game 4, not Game. We just got to focus on getting Game 3. That's a tough blow, no doubt about it.
We can sit here and dwell on this and be home in about 4 or 5 days, or we can move on and take some things that we did really well and go from there. I have no doubt everybody in that locker room is ready for Friday. It sucks, stings, but we got to go out there and take care of business. Otherwise, that's it. But I believe in everybody in the locker room. We believe in each other. We'll figure it out.
Why is Donovan wearing sunglasses? Is that just a fashion thing?
All the stars do it.
They all wear sunglasses?
Yeah.
He ain't got no buffs, though.
I don't know why I noticed
He
that.
should have been buffed up.
What does that mean?
Cartier glasses. You ain't never seen the movie? Of course you ain't never seen
What
the
movie?
Buffed Up.
Buffed Up? I've never seen
It's a
Buffed Up.
Detroit. It's like a hood. It's a Tubi movie.
Oh.
Like, yeah.
I don't have Tubi.
I mean, you can get. You
Oh,
can watch
Tubi's
it.
free,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, you can watch it on YouTube.
Okay.
It's
All
about
right.
sunglasses in Detroit.
So, Ty, how as an athlete, how does a team at that level put what happened, emotional collapse like that behind them and regroup for the next game?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'd be a fraud if I sat up here and told you that, oh, you could just flush it, watch the tape, flush it, and move on. It is very difficult when you have that type of momentum and you lose in that fashion, knowing the circumstances that your teammates are in. It's very hard to turn the page, but you got to find a way to do it. The good news about this is this wasn't Game 4. You still got an opportunity to go out there. And I think, guys like Ty Jerome. Ty Jerome had one of the worst games. He's been terrible in the playoffs, period.
Well, not in the playoffs, in this series.
Excuse me, in this series.
Yeah.
You're right. In this series, he hasn't been good. But guess what? You get another opportunity to go out there and right that wrong. It's not too late. And that's the thing you got to hold on to. No matter how good or bad you've played, no matter what the circumstances is, you still have another opportunity to fix everything. Teams can come back from 0-2. You get down, you go 3-0. Like, that's where, it's like curtains on that one. So I feel like in my mind, if I was playing on this Cavs team, I would say it's the best way to get revenge. They came in and they embarrassed us in our facility, in our home. Now it's time to go do the same thing back to them. And it starts with physicality. I would think that if guys are going to come out there and play in this game, the Evans, the Dariuses, the Hunters, if those guys decide to go out there and play, personally, I would find a way to even things out. If I got to take a couple hard fouls to get people off their game or bump them up a little bit, like, so be it. But I got to find a way to even this thing out. Like, no matter what, you got to find a way to win this game. Donovan is not going to be able to shoot threes. We already know that. I don't know how many calls he's going to get going to the lane this upcoming game because I feel like he got a bunch of them in this last one. Don't know how many, now that you in their building, I don't know how many times you're going to get those calls, but other guys got to step up. Max Strus had a good game. Jared Allen had a good game. We need that. Sam Merrill gave you something off the bench. I think you just if you just need just one or two more people to step up in there and have a better performance, and you can find a way to win this game.
I think the extra day off really helps.
Yes, it does.
Because you can pout yesterday, you can sulk yesterday, you can
Oh, you did.
lick your whatever
You
phrase
did.
you want to use. Get it out of your system. Come back today, get a good practice in, and get on the plane. And I think it would be harder on a one-day turnaround. I think that extra day, in this instance, can really help.
You know what I don't like, guys, and we've all been so high on Kenny Atkinson all year. And the other day we played a clip where he talked about the fouls and stuff, and we all, whoever was here that day, I don't remember. We all said we didn't like it.
Yep.
And I don't like that. Like his first answer to how do you get over that is we got to get guys back. Well,
Before we hold on, let me just clarify. That was the first question after the game.
yeah.
They speak again today. I'm sure he's gonna have a little different answer. That was the immediate aftermath.
I know that, Mike, but if guys don't come back this game, he just said, first we need to get guys back. So essentially he's saying, well, if we don't get guys back, we can't win.
I
disagree.
I think Mike's right. It's the
Yeah.
emotion of the moment.
Yeah.
You're frustrated. You don't have your guys.
Yeah.
I think it was just the emotion of the moment.
Okay.
But I hear what you're saying. You're
Yeah.
right. You're
I
right.
mean,
if he says that today, I'd agree with you. That was literally 5 minutes after the buzzer.
right, but
I was shocked how
Yeah.
fast he came in after the
It
game.
was the fastest he's ever come to the
I
podium.
mean, it was like, let's just get this over with.
right.
There was like 6 people in the press room. Like people hadn't even made it down from the press seats.
right. Well,
So just want to add that context. That was what
Yeah,
he said.
Because usually they take 20, 25
Sure.
minutes to come in after a game like that, and he was in right away.
yeah. When also, I was listening to that clip that Tyvis sent this morning into our chat group with Brian Windhorst, and Brian made the point of saying that part of the reason people are starting to complain, like us to some degree, that these guys aren't playing, especially Darius, is that the Cavs keep listing them as questionable, right? Well, when the coach says, well, we got to get guys back, it makes you think they could possibly play.
Absolutely.
So if he says we got to get guys back, if none of those guys could play, if there was no chance they could play Friday, I don't think he would say that.
There is medicine.
Now, if guys don't play, again, especially Darius, it's going to be like, well, they keep listing him as questionable. The coach is saying we need guys back. And if they're not back, it has you scratching your head.
There's a tactical part of this too. That yes, because and Jason and I actually talked about this. There's a fan versus tactical component to an injury report. You don't want to tell Indiana, hey, Darius is out, or he's doubtful.
You better not.
You want to leave it up in the air as long as possible to make them have to prepare.
Correct.
In the instance they're going to play. And on the flip side, if you say questionable, exactly what you just said happens, Bull. We all assume maybe they can play.
Right, but
And then we get upset and frustrated when they
Yeah.
don't because they've been listed as questionable. And I'm not sure what the fine line to walk is and how a team should handle that versus not, because you don't want to play your cards and give your hand away to the opponent, but you also don't want to let the imaginations run wild of some of the, and I mean this sincerely in a good way, some of the craziest fans who are then going to get upset if it doesn't come true and then label guys as soft when that may not be the reality.
Do you think that this point, that the Pacers today will prepare much differently if the Cavs are honest or not about Darius? Is
Yeah.
their preparation that much different?
Ask Tyvis, who played at the highest level, if you had to prepare if Joe Burrow was going to play versus the backup.
Here's where I think it's
Heck
different.
yeah, that's a difference.
Of course it is. Of course it is. But that's a different sport.
Yeah, that's
where
not
you
a
got
fair
one
comparison.
game.
Yeah.
You got one game at the end of the week. You may or may not have seen that team
Right.
earlier.
Could be a Sunday to Thursday game.
I'm just saying,
By
at this
this
point,
point-
Jason, is there much of a difference?
I actually don't think that there is, just
Yeah.
because I remember going off, when I was a beat writer and
Yeah.
talking to teams and players who said everybody knows what everybody's doing at this point in the season. You don't have any secret plays.
Right, yeah.
You don't have any. Now you can come up with something like special ATO or whatever, but for the most part, tendencies, everybody knows what everybody else is doing
Yeah.
by this point in the season. They've seen the Cavs with Darius. They've seen the Cavs without Darius.
Right.
They know. Yes, there is some gamesmanship involved in this.
Sure.
Certainly, for sure. But, this is 2 years in a row now where we've had this. This is the exact same situation with Jared Allen last year.
I knew you was going to say that.
It is. It's the exact
refused
same
to get
thing.
the shot.
And I don't even want to go back. I mean, we wrote that and it caused all kinds of. I don't. It was
You
true.
apologize?
No, it was true. And I'm not saying Darius is or isn't. I have no knowledge
That
of that.
turf toe different. I ain't
That's
gonna
why
lie.
I don't want to go down that path. But this is the second year in a row in the playoffs where you have this instance of a really key player. Is he in or is he out? Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Where a guy's questionable for 2 weeks. Like usually you're not questionable for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You're questionable for a couple days. So it's unfortunate that we are all in this position where the Cavs are in the spot. Of course they want their guys back. Of course Darius would rather play than not play. It forces us to be in positions of, well, how hurt is he? How tough is he? We don't want to. Nobody wants to do that.
Right. Bad boy Pistons. You got to go knock some people on the ground. You got to make it even.
Well, that's what I was screaming and yelling about at the
sorry.
post game.
I'm sorry.
That the Cavs have not done. Donovan Mitchell's getting his ass kicked in the game. Nobody's doing anything.
Yes. Halliburton got a
There
wrist.
should be
We gonna make sure
stomp
that
on there.
wrist
There should
messed
be
up. What are you
elbows
talking
being
about?
thrown. Halliburton should be knocked on his ass. And
I just don't understand.
But the Cavs are soft.
Put Tristan in. We ain't got nothing to lose.
Yeah, you do.
The
What?
series.
You can't put him in for a couple of minutes to foul.
There is a spot for him, yes.
I think he actually plays in Game 3. I
Okay.
actually
So
think he's
you
gonna
so
get-
you on my side. You picking up what I'm putting down.
Do we think
then.
any of these guys are going to play tomorrow?
Who? I think Hunter.
who? The
I
three
think,
guys that are hurt?
I think Hunter will be out there.
I don't know.
Listen, I thought Darius was
Tape
playing.
it.
I have people calling me during the show.
Hey, you and Jason got the hotline.
Jeez.
Don't nobody love me.
I thought Darius was going to play in Game 2, so I have no idea at this point. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know. I don't think they know.
I talked to
Do you think
someone.
they're going to play?
I mean, I talked to someone this morning. with
Maybe
the team.
Jared knows. He would know better than us.
Jared would know better than us. We're gonna bring Jared in 1 sec. They're all game time decisions. Is what it's gonna come down to, and we'll see how warmups goes.
Yeah.
This is a must win, an absolute must win. There's no other way to put it, and I think if these guys can go, I got my fingers crossed they will. But